Unleashing Talent, and today I'm going to give you some insights to how the HR kind of 2.0 looks like in my view, based on my experiences within the business and within the HR over the last 20 plus years. And my role was not just confined to the core HR. I was very deep inside the business. We used to work with the business on the capability building and new customers acquisition, stuff like that. So in the interest of the topic, the HR and how HR is and how HR should be, my topic for today is HR face off, HR 2.0, and this is for kind of the role that they have to play. So my name is Siraj. I am the CEO and founder for Siraj Center for Learning and Talent Development. My purpose is to unleash talent and unlock potential across corporates, societies, communities, and individuals for optimal performance. And that's the belief that we get in. So I chose to be a business performance coach, a motivational coach, a consultant for talent optimization, a business performance coach, and last but not the least, but very close to my heart, is the podcasting that I do. So I'm on some of the leading podcast platforms. So welcome to this short video on HR Face Off 2.0. First of all, in the first segment, I'm going to talk about what you are not as HR, what you are not. So it's very important for you to understand how the things are changing and what you are doing, right? So HR has been doing what it's been doing for a very long time, and that has led to a perception building amongst everyone. So if today you ask a newcomer or a 2 years experience or 10 years experience, 20 years, anyone who HR is, I mean, it is something like, who's HR? I mean, what is their job? What do they do? What are they for? So in this segment, over the next few minutes, I would talk about what I think HR is not, what actually HR is today, and that is how HR is understood across the globe, right? So first of all, you are not a people manager. People say people manager, you're responsible for people. How can you be responsible for people as HR, right? That's not your job. But that's the perception that has built, right? I'm sorry. The second title that's been given to you is you are a business partner. Now the question is, are you a business partner? And you feel pretty good about being a business partner. What do you do as a business partner? You are support to the business or to the business leader? What's your role? It's all the way the same thing, the way it has been perceived. You're not then people call you support group, right? Remember, the discussion is what you are not. So you're a support group. What does that mean? You're supporting a business leader. You're supporting employees. You are that pillar that gives the support and takes all the load on it and still does a thankless job. And all of these have led to, again, I would say, a perception that has built across, right? So the story doesn't stop there. You're a cost center. Are you? What do you do with the cost? So when big boys talk or the big guys talk about you as HR, you're a support function. You're a cost center. That means you're a cost to the company. Are you a burden to the company? I mean, when something hits the organization, you are the first place to be hit. The layoffs, all of a sudden you will get the information that you have to bring down your budget by 20, 25%, 30%, 40%. And it reduce the manpower because you were the cost center and you were the support center. So if you are reduced by half, it doesn't make any difference. Why? That's the question I want you to think about. Now, you are not an engagement person. You're not an employee engagement person. You are responsible for engaging the employees. You responsible to ensure that the employees are highly engaged or highly disengaged or adequately engaged or not engaged in K-12 and all those customer surveys, and the employee engagement reports would come in, and you as HR would go and show people what it is all about, and then people send you back with lot of responsibilities to ensure that they have the high engagement level. That's not your job in my view. That's not going to be your job in HR 2.0, right? And that's the point of discussion that I'm trying to make, and that's what I call it, a face off. What you are not. Another tag you have is the HR operations. Are you the HR ops guy? What do you do as operations? What do people perceive? What do they call you for? What does a business leader call you for? What are you accountable for? You're accountable for the operation of the business, or you are the HR operations, the secretarial kind of work, and you ensure the filing, stuff like that. So I think you are not. That's not going to work in the future. Are you? And you are not a grievance manager. Things are happening, right? And all of these issues are being pushed to you, and you're responsible. You're responsible for, if the number of grievances increase, then it is a question on your KRA. That's what you are, and that's what you should not be, and that's not going to work. Another one is, sorry to say, but are you the clerk to the business leader or to the head of the function? I mean, they will call you anytime and you just go and support them, and you go with the file with some data. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying that's awkward, and that's a part of the job. The question is, how are you being perceived? When you're going ahead with that information to a leader, are you going to discuss the way forward, or are you going to take tasks from them and come back with a lot of pressure and stuff like that? Which side are you sitting? Are you on this side of the table or the other side of the table, or are you sitting face to face? That's the question, right? Another one, are you a party arranger? You're HR, so there's something happening and you are responsible to ensure that people do party well, right? So every quarter or every month you have some party or the other, and the HR people come forward to do that. That's not going to be your role for long. I mean, things are changing and they would continue to change. So you have to imagine what the world is going through and how technology and digitization and artificial intelligence, robotics and stuff like that are taking over the business. If you continue to remain the support will not exist, right? There will be something else. What you're also not is, you're not a liaisoning officer, right? You're not. Your job is not to do that kind of coordination work. You are not the salary guy, right? So in the organization, the build-up is that, the performance review, and then you have the salary and compensation. So you are the one who's deciding the salary of the people. You are the one who's deciding the percentage of that salary increase or hike, the bell curve, and so on and so forth. And we've all experienced that, correct? So are you the person who does that? You're not. You're actually not. But that's how you're being perceived. That's not going to work in 2022, 25, 30. That's not going to work. It will change. You want or you do not. The organization culture will change. Organizational behavior would certainly change. And I will give you, and probably if I have time, I can substantiate those points with examples. All right. So you're not a gatekeeper to ensure the right and the wrong, who's coming, who's not coming, right? That's not your job. So You're not responsible for people performance, are you? You're not. In 2022, you are not. In 2025, you are not. In 2030, you are not. In the future, you are not. You are not responsible for people's education. People are responsible for their education. Their managers are responsible for their education. Their business is responsible for their education. They need what capability people need. So you need to hire people with that capability. And if you're hiring people with the gap in capability, then the responsible on responsibility is not just yours to bridge that gap, right? So I think there needs to be a definite mindset change for you. You as HR need to realize that the world is changing. You need to align yourself with the changing world. You need to understand how the technology is impacting the business, and how that will impact you, and how things that started. So to give you an example, the whole shared services model is like that. The HR as a strategic partner is emerging. So I would give you a few examples, right? So you are the master of the game. You are the key person to the organization. You're not someone who is doing that kind of job that we discuss sometimes. You're not the person that you were sometimes back. The perspective is changing. The business scenarios are changing. The world is changing. With the new norm, things will change further. And you have to keep watching for that. You are the custodian of the organizational values, and you need to have that within your mind all the time. You are the innovator. You are someone who does the innovative stuff, right? You are someone who's responsible for organizational strategy. You are the first person to be called for the CEO. You are the person responsible for the organizational strategy, because you have access to all the information within the organization, outside the organization. So in my view, the typical HR work will not exist. They would be either outsourced, or it has already started moving into shared services. And we all have seen that transition. So training gets into the compensation gets into it, the operations gets into it, the employee engagement. So your artificial intelligence, your technology, your robotics and blockchains and new applications, they will all change. They will all change, and they will take away the work that you're doing, because you're not supposed to be doing that work, and that's not the expectation. That's not the expectation. So HR as a community, HR as the larger community, need to deliberate, talk, understand the future, right? And then guide the business into the new direction. And I mean, the CEOs and the board of directors and the business leaders also need to understand and elevate this position, and they need to accordingly transition. So I think it will take some time, and it has started. There are a lot of great HR leaders who are working very close with the CEOs and they are the ones who are responsible for designing the organizational strategy. You are no more someone who's supporting someone. You are equally senior. You're being paid that way. You're being understood that way. But the question is, we need to, whether we are able to break that perception or not. So you are the key differentiator. You are the one who brings that differential advantage. You are the one who is the go-to person when it comes to market intelligence. You are the trusted advisor within the board, and that's what is important. So in the larger business meeting, HR is like an hour presentation with what's happening in diversity and employee engagement, employee development, and compensation, and what are some of your good to do programs. No, you understand what I'm saying, right? These are not the things that are going to be. Else, you would just come and you will not be the value creator. You would just be someone who does some work, right? And you are good to have person. That's not gonna work. It's a started change. That's not the expectation. You will not be valued for that. You will not be paid for that. You are the catalyst, right? You are the one who is at the front, right? And you are the one who decides and who understands what change is required for the organizational development and growth. You are the key stakeholder in the business, right? So the board and the CEO and the chairman must feel that you have a stake in the sense, a stake in the revenue, a stake in the growth, a stake in the profitability, and not just how well you did the cost cutting and how well you facilitated the cost cutting. The answer is not there. You are a planner, you are someone who is the integral part of the organizational strategic planning, right? And you are not someone who's just, all right, you can also suggest something from the people perspective. No, you are now no more in 2.0 in 2020, 25, 30. You are not that person. I think the human resources tag itself should be removed from this function. There are a lot of terminologies that are very very outdated. I think so. I mean, I'm being a little aggressive there, but there's nothing wrong in challenging some of the old practices. So you are the executioner. You are the one who is responsible for execution, who gets things executed. So I'm not saying it's head on with the business leader, but I'm saying it is shoulder to shoulder with the business leader. So we need to have a great name for ourselves, right, as HR community. And I think there's need for us to be on the table and have a dialogue with the CEOs and CXOs on this, right? So I'm not a big guy from the industry, but yes, I've experienced things, I've seen things, I've read things. I am to a great extent informed and aware of what is happening and the kind of people I've met and have discussed that. You are the captain of the ship. You're not someone who's on the ship or responsible for something or the other. No, you are the captain. You are ahead of the people who are responsible for the business or delivery or operations. You are ahead of that. You are at the driving seat, right, for the business. So you are in my view, you are the influencer. When it comes to the customer, they want you because they would have fair understanding of the workforce planning, or whether you talk about the people side or business side or culture side or value side. And when you do that, when you understand your values, your organization, your business, and who else in the organization can understand all of these other than you? You are in a position, you are someone, say the delivery, the strategy, the operations, the business excellence, they are different components of the organization, and you cut across the verticals and the horizontals. So you are expected to have more knowledge, more ability, more capability to manage and handle things, and you should be the go-to person, right? So you become the architect. You are the business generator and you are the architect. So coming back to conclude this discussion, so we briefly talked about the face of HR 2.0, and this discussion was primarily to do a discussion on what HR is not in the future and what it is today. So I hope you enjoyed this short discussion. So you are in my view, I'm not going to give a name to it if the term HR changes, it's fine, but you are definitely the business performance specialist. A part of is one of the key verticals. So when you look at the org chart, the HR vertical needs to change because it is impacting and feeding all across. So you will have the functions and you have the verticals, and you will cut across all through, and you will become the key person. Actually, some of the business leaders must report to you. That should be the extent of your thinking. So thanks a lot for your time. Hope you liked some of these discussions. Take what you like, don't take what you don't like. So appreciate your time. Goodbye. See you again.